My fellow pilots, good morning and welcome. As the leading advocate for pilots throughout North America, the Airline Pilots Association International is a powerful voice for our members, a powerful voice at the bargaining table, on Capitol Hill, Parliament Hill, and in collaborative initiatives with our partners in government and industry. As a force for positive change in our profession, ALPA has certain responsibilities. Responsibilities like helping to protect our pilots' jobs and secure their professional futures, working to improve their compensation and their quality of life, advancing aviation safety and security in the cockpit, in the air, and on the ground. These are the issues that matter to our members. And they matter to ALPA as an organization as well. Indeed, they define us. They define us as a union. They are at the core of our strategic plan, the plan that you will help shape here this week. The keys to ALPA's fulfilling these responsibilities include a solid financial network, a sound fiscal policy, and a budgetary plan focused on our strategic priorities. As leaders of our union, ALPA continued financial strength is all of our collective responsibility. To that end, we take everything into account. For example, the continued instability of global financial markets, fuel price volatility, and the emergence of new foreign competitors and industry consolidation. Ultimately, all of these challenges affect our members' livelihoods, their families' futures, and our union's bottom line. Just take a look at what is happening to some of our pilot groups. We have 4 airlines going through the bankruptcy process, 7 of our pilot groups involved in mergers, and we just lost 2 of our pilot groups due to the shutdown of their airlines. In recent years, as a union, we've shown tremendous resiliency in overcoming these hurdles and challenges. And we've demonstrated a great ability to adapt to such a dynamic, changing environment. Together, we undertook a successful financial and operational re-engineering. And your MECs have taken significant and effective steps to bring stability to your pilot group's finances and that of ALPA National, our union. You've managed your budgets wisely, you've prioritized expenses, and collaborated with other groups to lower costs without sacrificing efficiency. Those efforts are beginning to bear fruit, and ALPA pilots are seeing those benefits. Due to fiscal discipline and sound financial management, some MECs have even been able to refund a portion of their dues income. This year, refunds have been authorized for a total of $9.7 million. Let me say that again, a refund of $9.7 million to the pilots of Air Transat, Alaska, A-Star, and Delta. On behalf of the entire association, we thank you for all of your hard work and your stewardship of our pilots' hard-earned dues dollars. Today, I am pleased to report that our union has achieved greater financial stability in our operations, and we continue to improve. As a result, our association is in a much better position financially to face the future challenges and continue to dedicate the vital resources and unwavering support that our members depend on. Here we go with the obligatory eye chart. For those of you sitting up front and for those of you sitting in the back, there'll be a test at the end of this presentation. While ALPA's audited results for 2011 operations reflect an almost $7 million deficit, this is a vast improvement over previous years. For 2011, ALPA dues revenue was $107 million, a 10% increase over 2010, which is encouraging. Overall revenue of $113 million was $4.2 million higher than 2010 which represented a 4% increase. While dues revenue reflects a healthy increase, investment returns, however, were less than substantial than they were the year before. That is because in 2010, the financial markets swung heavily in the other direction as they recovered from the 2008-2009 global financial crisis. In 2011, investment returns reflected markets returning to a less volatile, more conservative environment. Looking at ALPA's consolidated operating income over the last 10 years, you can see the impact on our union of an industry in bankruptcy and financial markets in turmoil. After bottoming out in 2008, as a union, we had to make some hard decisions. Decisions, however, that were necessary to maintain our viability. Since then, our operating income has been trend positive, and we're showing a surplus of $2.2 million through July 31st of this year. Actual dues income continues to beat our projections, due in part to our practice of developing conservative revenue projections upon which the budget is based. While budgeted dues revenue for 2012 is $110 million, we are currently projecting dues revenue to be nearly $112 million for 2012. One of the primary drivers of that is dues received on profit sharing exceeding our budget forecast. Through strategic planning, many of your MECs have advanced forward-thinking, realistic goals and engaged your managements in constructive ways to secure contract improvements for your pilots. For example, over the past 2.5 years, pilots at Hawaiian, Spirit, Jazz, AirTran, FedEx, and Delta have successfully built on progressive pay, benefits, and work rules through pattern bargaining. Their contract achievements have not only benefited their members, they have benefited the association and our profession as a whole. Another area where pilot groups are helping the association strengthen our bottom line is negotiating company-paid flight pay loss and company reimbursement of merger-related and other expenses. We fully support and encourage pilot groups to continue to pursue this very practical practice. The operating contingency fund has been an effective source for our members, and we are taking measures to preserve it and enhance it. Since 2008, we've been building our OCF resources. Over the past 2 years, the association has also adopted new policies and practices that have resulted in greater efficiencies. For example, we expanded the Contingency Fund Oversight Board, which continues to be very effective at reducing MEC deficits. Under this program, our executive vice presidents are assigned to pilot groups to offer advice and guidance and help them manage their limited resources. Since the program was started a few years ago, contingency fund allocations have decreased significantly, assisting us in replenishing the OCF. In 2012, our OCF balance continues to trend in a positive direction. The allocation in 2013 of an additional $200,000 off the top in funding for the operating fund will provide additional resources for pilot groups that don't have the financial resources necessary to deal with the challenges they face. Another one of ALPA's greatest resources and most valuable strategic and financial assets is the Major Contingency Fund, or MCF. One of our strategic priorities that we are pursuing is implementing budgeting practices and policies to both reduce the demands and improve the funding of the MCF. For most of the last 2 decades, MCF expenditures were supported by investment income derived from a conservative investment strategy. Indeed, no ALPA dues dollars have gone into the MCF since 1985. However, in recent years, we have faced significant demands on the fund, including prolonged negotiations with several pilot groups, litigation, and strike-related activities. In response, the Executive Board adopted policy changes that have helped take some of the pressure off of the MCF. For example, we standardized how MCF monies are allocated to pilot groups. We also standardized how and when MECs utilize their MCF monies as they near the latter stages of negotiations. And we've established spending guidelines that are consistent with ALPA's strategic goal to support our pilot group's efforts to achieve positive bargaining results. We continue to provide annual updates on the MCF balance forecast, and we'll provide another one for you at a briefing in Delegate Committee 4 this week. In planning our course for the future, you, the members of ALPA's Board of Directors, must ask yourself these questions. How important is the MCF? How do we protect it so that it's there to serve pilots today as well as pilots in the future? These are two of the questions that were considered by the Special Committee for Finance, Structure, and Services, which was created by the President at the direction of the Executive Council in 2010. The committee's mandate was to undertake a comprehensive strategic review of the association's operations, including the allocation of resources and services that we provide to our members. SCUFS, as it's more affectionately known, is made up of myself and 8 other pilots from across the association. We took a consensus approach to our work, which centered on advancing ALPA's strategic priority to support financial policy that streamlines our processes and procedures, increases transparency, and, most importantly, makes the most effective use of our pilots' hard-earned dues dollars. We checked our political hats at the door and focused not on what was politically expedient, but what we thought was in the long-term best interests of our members. The numerous SCUFS recommendations that the Executive Board has adopted so far include streamlining the allocation of dues into 4 accounts: the A&S account, the MEC account, LEC account, and the operating contingency fund, and allowing refunds from MEC account surpluses under certain conditions. We also worked on refining and expanding how the OCF is used regarding supplementary funding to MECs, and the Executive Board established, beginning in 2015, a $500,000 off-the-top dues allocation to be used for specific strategic purposes such as MCF funding. The SCUFS also recommended the creation of a resource planning team to help MECs make the most of ALPA's unparalleled resources, services, and professional expertise. Tailored to your MEC, the resource planning team was developed to guide you in how you maximize the tools and staff expertise available to you in the areas of finance, representation, communications, and collective bargaining. This is the ALPA team approach that no other pilot union can provide to its members. Now, I'd like to take a moment to review 2 SCUF-related agenda items that you, the Board of Directors, will be taking action on this week. The first is a SCUF's recommendation to eliminate the exemption of pilot wage deferrals into U.S. 401k and Canadian Registered Retirement Savings Plans from income subject to dues. The second agenda item for your consideration is the raising of the threshold to call a special MEC meeting from 30% to a simple majority when that MEC is receiving contingency fund funding. Now, I want to be clear that this change will not affect the MEC's chairman's ability to call a special meeting regardless of the MEC's financial status. This constitutional revision will help pilot groups to manage their resources more effectively. Looking to the future, the 2013 budget that ALPA's Executive Council unanimously approved projects $113 million in dues revenue. That's a 2.7% increase in dues revenue over the 2012 budget. From approximately $90 million in revenue in 2008 to $113 million in revenue in 2013, the trend is again positive, and we are continuing to see improvements. I'd like to emphasize that with this budget, the association continues to dedicate the vital resources and unwavering support that our members depend on. Support to the pilots of American Eagle, North American, Pinnacle, and Ryanair in their efforts to mitigate concessions, protect their jobs, and help their airlines emerge from bankruptcy. Support to the pilots of United and Continental, ASA, ExpressJet, ATI, Capital Cargo, and AirTran as they progress through their airline mergers. Support to the pilots of A-Star and Comair as they face uncertain future after the shutdown of their airlines. Support to protect and advance our profession through ALPA's pilot partisan agenda. And support to constantly raise the bar on safety and security for passengers and cargo airlines alike through our collaboration with government and industry partners. I assure you that ALPA is prepared to face the challenges of today and move forward in a positive direction. We're prepared because of your collective efforts. You should be proud of that. The results underscore that what you do, what you decide as the association's board of directors matters. Our finances are stable. We're seeing improvements, and we have a solid plan to move forward. As members of ALPA's highest governing body, you have a critical role in shaping the plan and guiding the future direction of this association and our profession. I thank you for your efforts. Thank you for listening to my report this morning.